Hello, my name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm mayor of the city of Douglasville, and this is the state of the city in my first 100 days. To the members of the Douglasville City Council, those who own or do business in Douglasville, and to all the citizens of this great city, it is an honor to briefly share with you the state of our city. I say briefly because I've only been in office for over 100 days. Yet, I believe this is an opportune time to assure you that our city is right where we need to be at this point. To put this in perspective, in his first 100 days, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt set out to put an end to the Great Depression that was thought to be caused by the policies of his predecessor, Herbert Hoover. When FDR took office in 1933, he immediately addressed the effects of the Depression, focusing on getting Americans back to work, protecting their savings and creating prosperity, providing relief for the sick and the elderly, and getting industry and agriculture back on its feet. Thankfully, the city is not dealing with an aftermath of the Great Depression, and we are not the federal government, so our report will be quite a different story, one which holds the promise of a bright future. While we think of topics such as budgets, economic development, public safety, and making Douglasville an ideal place to live, work, play, and stay, this is not a solo project. It will take the work of all of us, every single citizen of the Douglasville area, in order for us, the citizens, to succeed. First, I want to thank the Douglasville City Council, the Douglas County Board of Commissioners, and other elected officials for fostering a climate conducive to progress and success, working with you to create a culture of cooperation, respect, and responsibility has already begun. I have great hope that we can work together to do the work of the people of the city and the county. It is refreshing that there has been no I's and little U's. We have worked comfortably together for the betterment of our community without grandstanding, flexing our muscles, or being closed-fisted and closed-minded. As President Harry S. Truman is quoted as saying, "It's amazing what you can accomplish if you do not care who gets the credit." I also want to thank our wonderful and valuable staff. I have thoroughly enjoyed meeting with the city manager weekly and directors of each department quarterly, a goal we set at the Mayor and City Council's retreat in January. Directors, during the first quarterly meetings, I was inspired and impressed by your professionalism, commitment, and enthusiasm with which you updated me on the actions of your departments. You represent the city well, as do all the fine employees with whom you work. It has been my pleasure to get to know each of you, and I'm proud of you. We are a dynamic team. And I want to thank you, the citizens of the city of Douglasville, for your continued involvement and dedication. Many of you give your time and service through the excellent level of work and the time you donate to several boards and commissions. At an appreciation breakfast we held a few days ago to honor our volunteers, we tried to show our thanks for the countless hours that we know you could be using in some other capacity. Our theme, Better Together, said it all. We are infinitely better when we work together to make Douglasville a city worth living in. Again, we thank you for your support, and to those who offer an encouraging word when I see you on the streets, at Walmart, at the mall, at Publix grocery store, thank you. Now let's get to the business at hand, the state of the city. The truth is, it has been a whirlwind of activity these last 100 days. But I stand before you with confidence as I report that the city of Douglasville is on solid ground. There are many indicators that lead me to this conclusion, but I have chosen to only highlight 5 examples to illustrate my point. The topics I will talk about are finance, communications and technology, public safety, community development, and economic development. I will begin with finances. Finance. Everyone wants to know that the city they live in is fiscally sound and responsible. So I'm happy to report that the city of Douglasville is in good financial standing. We are currently finishing up the fiscal year 2016 budget, which ends June 30th, and are in the process of preparing the budget for fiscal year 2017. Each department head met with City Manager Marcia Hampton and Finance Director Karen Callan during the week of March 28th, and will have one more round of meetings with them before a balanced budget is presented to the City Council in a day-long workshop on Wednesday, May 11th. A public hearing for the citizens of Douglasville is tentatively set for Thursday, June 16th, and the budget is expected to be presented to the City Council for adoption on Thursday, June 20th. An overview of the current general fund, the largest portion of a handful of funds in the city budget, predicted revenues in the 2015-2016 budget of $26,981,754. The monies come from license and permits, $2,088,250. Charges for services, $1,684,854. Fines and forfeitures, $1,606,500. Investment income, $5,000. Taxes and other small revenues and financing sources. Of the total revenues received by the city, 79%, $21,381,500 comes to the city through taxes. As you might have guessed, property taxes generate more revenue than any other taxes. They account for 33% of all taxes received into the city's coffers. A total of $7,125,095. Sales taxes were estimated to bring in 30%, or $6,410,387 in revenue. This year, however, sales taxes were lower than expected, but through no fault of our own. Last year, we did not anticipate that gas prices would drop so low. So our sales taxes are trending downward as a result of the lower gas prices. The good news is that at the same time, revenues from building permits are up from the prior year, due primarily to a distribution warehouse on Riverside Parkway, which has generated $100,000 in permits this year. A recap of expenses drawn from the general fund for the last budget year shows that public safety receives the largest portion of revenues at 35%, or $9,406,157. General government, which includes administrative services and salaries, comprises 32%, or $8,687,839 of the revenues. Cultural and recreation, debt services, public works, housing and development, and judicial account for the other 33% of expenses. Of those, cultural and recreation and debt services made up 20% of the general fund expenses. At 8%, the debt service is mainly for the cost of the Public Safety Administration building, but the city will be looking at refinancing the bonds for this building during this budget cycle. In addition, we will look at conducting a feasibility study on the sanitation and maintenance building and the financing for it. Many will have questions about our cultural and recreation expenses as they relate to West Pines Golf Course, of which voters approved renovations in the 2002 SPLOST. I will not address West Pines at this time. Please know that discussions are being held, and at some point a report will be made. But I have been in office for only 100 days. Rome wasn't built in a day, and the future of West Pines cannot be resolved or settled in this first 100 days. West Pines is a great asset to the city for green space and recreation, and it is a work in progress. Under finance, there is one other point I would like to touch upon. You have likely heard talk about the possibility of a joint special purpose local option sales tax, SPLOST referendum. City and county government leaders are in a positive working relationship and have held early discussions on projects that could be included should the referendum be approved by the voters of the city and the county in November. The city has plans to hold a SPLOST town hall meeting on Tuesday, May the 10th at 6:30. For those interested in attending and offering input, please attend if you are available at 6:30 p.m. on May 10th. As it relates to finances, I want to reiterate, we are in good financial standings, in a good place overall, and the city is financially sound. Thank you, Karen Callan, and your staff for the great work that you've done. Now we have tackled one big ticket item. Let's move on to our second topic, communications and technology. Since we believe that an informed citizen is an educated citizen, the Communications Department's mission is to provide constituents with information that is timely, precise, accurate, and accessible. One way we're doing this is by embracing the use of advancing technology and delivering methods, which is a priority for the department this year. We are excited about the city's redesigned website, douglasvillega.gov, which is expected to launch late spring or early summer of this year. It will feature a fresh, clean homepage layout with a responsive, interactive design that will have the capability to interface with mobile devices such as smartphones and tablets, making access to quality information and online services readily available to all those on the go. I want to thank the Communications Director, Kelly Hunter, Chris Dixon, and the entire team who have worked hard to make this redesign possible. Some of you regularly watch City Council meetings, which are filmed, archived, uploaded, and broadcast courtesy of the Communications Department. For those who haven't watched or don't know where to find us, the meetings are broadcast on Comcast Channel 22, Tributaries Channel 48, City TV's YouTube channel, which is mycitytv.com, and on our website. I want to point out that the YouTube channel, mycitytv.com, hosts analytical support which reflects that over 200,000 viewers have clicked on the broadcast content they produce and uploaded programming on a regular basis. These statistics suggest that people want to know what's going on in their local government, and our commitment to you is to bring to our citizens this open, transparent form of governing. We will continue to use social media on a daily basis to push notifications and distribute information. You may have already noticed that several of the city's departments engage with our public through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest accounts. We encourage this exchange of information and are doing everything we can to keep you informed. Public safety. Last month, my office received an email from a website announcing that the city of Douglasville is one of the 50 safest cities in Georgia. If this is true, and I have every reason to believe that it is, we can only give credit to the work of the City of Douglasville's Police Department and Chief Gary Sparks. The city continues to invest in and support the concept of community-oriented policing, and the police department has developed many programs that facilitate this. A couple of weeks ago, Chief Sparks and Deputy Chief Sue-Ann Shaw presented the Douglasville Police Department's quarterly report before the City Council, wherein they reiterated the department's commitment to working with and being part of the community. Chief Sparks said, "We want to let the community know that we are one with the community." He went on to say that too often, in social and other media, police officers are depicted as us against them or us against the community. Instead, the Douglasville Police Department is working together with the community to fight crime and social disorder by interacting with the community through programs for people of all ages. He and Deputy Chief Sue-Ann Shaw are doing an excellent job in leading the department. Our nationally recognized Youth Against Violence program continues its work with at-risk teens to educate them on the many pitfalls they may experience, but also to teach behaviors that breed successful habits that will last them throughout their lives. In the Douglasville Community Outreach Program, DCOP, the chief and other officers go out into the community to meet citizens one-on-one in a non-adversarial manner, even giving citizens an opportunity to ride along with police officers to see what being a police officer entails. The police department has held valuable training sessions over the last few months, such as the active shooter class, which advises what to do in the event that any of us comes face to face with a gunman, especially in a public setting like the workplace or shopping center. We're looking for a few good men and women to join the police department. Of the 101 total full and part-time certified police officers positions allotted, 97 are filled. The department is interested in having a diverse force of officers that will reflect the demographics of our community. Currently, there are 81 male, 16 female employees, comprised of Caucasian officers, African Americans, and Hispanics. The good news is that the department is actively recruiting through the city's website, newspapers, social media, churches, and faith-based organizations, and at career fairs on college campuses, and is in the process of advertising through radio commercials. In the first 3 months of 2016, the department has made 793 arrests and issued 2,833 citations and 525 warnings. In the last month alone, the Special Operations Division has had 4 search warrants served, made 15 arrests, and recovered 10 handguns, 4 of which were in the hands of convicted felons. The police department is still analyzing the various types of body cameras and trying to find the best fit for the agency before making this major purchase. They are also keeping abreast of emerging technology and how to use it to fight crime more effectively. This includes the purchase of gang intelligence software with the District Attorney's Office and the Douglas County Sheriff's Office to fight against gang-related crimes. The chief recently held a West Georgia information sharing session in the city of Douglasville, which included the Atlanta Police Department and the GBI. In the next few months, the focus will be on summer crimes, juvenile complaints, residential burglaries, entering autos, and code violations. Thank you, officers, for the work that you do to keep us safe, and thank you to the other essential employees who work in the police department and municipal courts. We appreciate your dedication. The department maintains a great working relationship with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office through the Joint Fine, Felony, Interception, and Narcotics Detection Unit, which operates on Interstate 20 to intercept illegal drugs transported, and with the Major Case Unit based in the Sheriff's Office and staffed with personnel from both agencies. I want to thank Chief Gary Sparks and Douglas County Sheriff Phil Miller on their collaborative efforts to make Douglasville and Douglas County a safe place to live. I would be remiss if I didn't applaud the services that the Douglas County Fire Department, E911, and the county's Emergency Management Agency provides for the citizens of Douglasville. Thank you. Our final 2 topics are community development and economic development. In community development, in the last 3 months, we have seen positive signs that the economy is rebounding. So we move forward with a spirit of encouragement and optimism. From January through March, we have issued 41 permits for single-family homes within the city, an astonishing increase of over 300% from this same time last year. With this increase, the city is committed and focuses on ensuring that we are able to provide an adequate and diverse range of housing options in the city of Douglasville. On the commercial side, the city received clear title to the 7-acre old mill site along Broad Street, a process that took nearly 5 years to complete. The City Council recently heard presentations from 4 developers on potential use of the old cotton mill to build affordable housing for our senior population. The interest from the community was not only inspiring, it sparked an important dialogue on housing that needs to be addressed. And while we decided not to move forward with the plans that were proposed, the city agreed with the recommendation from the city manager, Marcia Hampton, to seek the services of a consultant who could help direct the city in determining the best and highest use for this property. Still, It opened the door for us to discuss housing for our future, and we anticipate having more in-depth conversations with public officials and the community about these housing options. I want to thank those who came out and voiced their opinions. This process will undoubtedly be ongoing throughout this year and next, and the city will continue to explore ways to maximize the old mill site and turn it once again into a source of pride for the city of Douglasville. Another focus is our effort to recruit and retain volunteers. We are building our volunteer base back up, and we need you. We are looking for good citizens who would like to partner with us by serving on city boards or commissions. We held a volunteer fair on Tuesday, April 19th, to give citizens a look at the various boards and an opportunity to serve on them. Representatives of each board were on hand to provide information about the services they provide to the city and to obtain contact information from those who might be interested and willing to be part of them. If you missed it and you still have a desire to serve, we'll be happy to take your information. Thank you, Jonathan Lynn, our Community Development Director, for your work in leading this department. During our retreat in January, we discussed other ways to develop our community, such as developing a long-term plan for the old conference center, assessing the feasibility of acquiring the property adjacent to Jesse Davis Park, conducting an inventory and analysis of neighborhood streets to develop priority lists for resurfacing, working with Keep Douglasville Beautiful to develop a list of public and private improvement projects, and developing and adopting a failed subdivision ordinance. Moving on to my last item, which is economic development. One item under economic development could have a major impact on the downtown Douglasville area if it comes to fruition. Not long ago, a hotel feasibility study was commissioned to assess the practicality of locating a hotel in the downtown Douglasville area. This is a critical first step towards attracting a lodging establishment that would coincide with the services provided by locations like the Douglasville Conference Center and the diverse programs that are hosted in our downtown area throughout the year. The results of this study will be revealed on May 2nd. The City of Douglasville is working with the Douglas County Development Authority to partner and better manage our resources collectively. This was one of my campaign promises, so over the next several months, we will continue to work on and develop a relationship to see what that looks like, combining our development authorities with the county, but keeping the city's development authority for special projects. In conclusion, I want to thank everyone who has worked tirelessly and unselfishly to get us to this point in my administration in these first 100 days. While it has been a learning curve in many ways, I am as optimistic as ever that Douglasville is a great city, that it is on the brink of something even greater. All indications are that we are headed in the right direction and on the right track to make this community, our community, a premier place to live, work, play, and stay. It takes all of us to do this. As I have said before, I have a spirit of cooperation as I realize that no man is an island. We are so much stronger together than we are apart. Throughout this report, I have used the word committed several times. On behalf of the City Council, City Manager, City employees, and myself as Mayor of this great city, we are committed to providing the highest level of excellence and service to our employer, you, the community. On that note, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to make this report to you, and thank you for your attention. May God bless you, your families, our servicemen and women, our community, the City of Douglasville, and United States of America. God bless you.